No, you can't control me, baby. You need a real one in your life. The bitches ain't gonna give it to you, right? I'd rather be your bitch.
Hi, I'm Zaria.
And I'm Maika.
And this is Calmingthechaos. Welcome back.
Hi, everybody. I know we look a little different, but hi.
Hi. Yeah, we're trying out the Zoom thing because, we want to test it out first before we get other people to Zoom in before it's a complete disaster.
Also, because our time schedules are all off.
Yes.
There's no time for us to ever meet up in person. So this is going to have to do.
Right. It was a lot easier for season 1 when you lived right down the road.
Yeah. And I didn't have a job and you didn't have 2 jobs and
life was a lot simpler.
Hell yeah. But how's your day?
It was good. Kind of not well. I just went to work and then I came home and ate real quick and stuff, and then got ready for the podcast. But how was your day?
It wasn't that great. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty shitty. But I'm just stressed and it's okay. Stress goes away eventually. So, I'll get through it.
Right. I'm also sipping. I have Buzzball, watermelon Buzzball with strawberry lemonade. I have my hot.
I am sipping on some Sprite. And that's it. I try to drink tonight.
I thought you said acid at first. I was like, whoa.
No, not acid. Not me tripping on acid. No, but yeah, no. I'm drinking some Sprite. That's all. That's all.
All right. Let's get into this topic, okay?
It's a little bit heavy, y'all, so be prepared. If you can't handle the topic, it's okay to leave. Just make sure you share for the next person who might want to hear this. And we're talking about this situation because we want it to be more normalized. We want to spread the word that everything's going to be all right in the end, no matter what gender you are.
Right. And because of a particular person, but we'll get to him.
Oh, yeah.
You act like you didn't know who I was talking about.
For a hot second, I was like, who? I want all the tea. So we tea. That's all.
Right. So we're going to be talking about mental health within men. Why do you think that it's so hard for men to be in touch with their feelings?
I think it's hard because mostly society. Society always tells men, society and generational trauma from men passing it down you got to be a man. That's gay gets dropped on the daily.
Literally.
Just for little shit. So men probably feel like they can't really express themselves without seeming gay, without looking like a sissy, without judgment. They always get some type of judgment for acting a little bit more feminine, but men do need to get really in touch with their feminine side, or not even their feminine side, but their intuitive side, you know?
Well, also when you were talking about the feminine side too, I just want to say that you can be straight and wear nail polish and eyeliner and mascara.
Exactly.
That doesn't define you. What'd you say?
I said the goth people do it.
Oh my God.
And they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. Goth people are awesome. So.
But you don't have to be gay to wear makeup or female to wear makeup. You can be straight and express yourself in any way that you want to express yourself. I literally work with this guy who wears skirts sometimes. I mean, not short skirts, but he does wear skirts sometimes to work. Especially in the hotter months, in summer. That was his thing. He be rocking the skirt better than me. He has this pink and yellow one, plaid one. Oh, I love it.
See, it's kind of like, when I think about that, I think about Harry Styles, because isn't he straight?
Yeah.
He's a straight man.
At least I think so. Unless he might be queer. Most gay men, especially now in like 2022, people usually just come out as like queer instead of putting like an actual label of like what they like. Even though like queer community like anything, but like people typically, especially men, just like say queer a lot, unless they're transgender or something.
Yeah. See, I don't know much about the whole community, but I'm in it. But it's like I need to get more educated myself. But
let's talk about this. Just side note. What do you feel about people that try to add this into like the LGBTQIA plus community? Like, what do you think when people say like, oh, I want to identify as a cat or a pineapple?
I say do not confuse it with the LGBTQIA plus community. That is a whole separate community on their own. They're not the same.
They're like furries.
Yeah, exactly. See, furries. It's a whole different term. Too. That I don't think they correlate. Like there could be people in the LGBTQIA plus community who like to be furries. That's the only type of correlation I could think of. But other than that, I don't think of the two communities as the same thing.
Right.
Because you can be straight and be a furry.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Okay, good answer. But I also want to say too, back to like the men, like we as a society as a whole also need to retrain our brains to stop making fun of these men who have these outbursts, especially famous people who have these outbursts on national television or on the internet, Instagram Live, and we're just literally eating that shit up and running with it and making a mockery out of it. When clearly you can see this person has some serious issues.
You can see that they're hurting and that they're doing these things as like a cry for help, but no one's getting them help because they're like, oh, they're rich, they probably could get help if they really wanted to, but it's like, it doesn't work that way. Right. Like sometimes you need a push to get help.
I know. And like speaking about the social media, I think I'm not as in tune with Kanye as I once was back in the day because I also like kind of checked out once he started really going batshit crazy a little bit. But I just kind of checked out because it's kind of like sad. But then there also comes a point where you have to take accountability for your own actions too.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you should be 30 plus or whatever, still doing the same shit and getting away with it and nobody's holding you accountable and you're not holding yourself accountable. Like I understand mental health is serious. People don't want to always go get the help, but you can't keep pointing the finger at everybody else. Like Kanye keeps pointing the finger at the whole Kardashian family when
and
like like literally keeps pointing the finger at everybody but his own actions. Like
sometimes I think maybe he doesn't even see it. Like I don't know how to explain it, but maybe he's just blind to it because he's going through it. Like his mind could be in a whole different other like world and he's doing these things but not realizing the impact. Or maybe it's by impulse. Sometimes you do things by impulse that you don't mean.
Bipolar and manic.
Yeah. So
like I get it.
He needs help,
And like sometimes he does have points, but the way that he comes across while making those points completely erases the true meaning behind what he is trying to say. And I also want to say this to our people too. that, and I'm also learning, and I'll be learning more once I finally get into therapy, even though it's 2 months away. Anyways, but
eventually.
yes, but I want to say to the people that people really just need to be more in tune, especially like with Kanye. Like, he wants to sit there and like point the finger at the Kardashians, and like not everything is about them. Like, yes, they have their own faults, but like Kanye has a lot of them too. And this is what I actually was gonna say, is that like you shouldn't point the finger at everybody else instead of like looking in the mirror and like reflecting on yourself too, because you can't always say that all these people are the problem, especially when all of these people and you're only one person, they're pointing the finger back at you. So that also tells you something too.
Majority rules.
Yes.
Like if all the people are saying, hey, you need help, when you're sitting there pointing the finger at everybody else, maybe you are the problem and you need to get some help. That way you can fix all the crap that's happening to you, you know?
Yeah. And another thing I was also going to say too, this is actually where the real point I was getting at, is that the way that you, like, for the people at home, like the way that you say stuff diminishes the real like reason of why you're saying it, or like the real message. Yes. Because I have this issue too. Like, I might be right in a situation, but I just go off the rails. But like, I know I'm right, but my delivery of how I said it is wrong. And the person that I'm delivering it to doesn't receive that message, because all they hear is like, that's all they hear.
You know what that reminds me of? What I feel like every Black mom always says, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
Like, you can say something, and if you say it with attitude, they'll be like, excuse me? Like, you'd be like, I didn't mean it in that way. That's kind
just
of
like your situation today.
Exactly my point. It was my delivery. I wasn't having a good day, so I said something, and even though I'm trying to be normal and I'm trying to just get through it, it sounded like I was giving somebody attitude. Like, I'm not giving you attitude. I'm having a bad day and I'm just trying to process it and be normal for this conversation. But he hears me like being like rude, or, you know, having a wrong tone with him. And I'm like, my tone is wrong because I'm going through something, not because I'm trying to have attitude with you. So,
and it's also like my ex-roommate, she made the comment that I'm abrasive, when I never really was, I quote unquote, I guess, abrasive towards her. I was nothing but nicer because I didn't really know her. That wasn't my friend. That wasn't my coworker. That was Brittany's friend and coworker. So I was just trying to be as nice as I could, invite her to my birthday dinner. We had a party, a New Year's Eve party together. She went to Alana's birthday dinner. Like, we tried to include her and stuff too. But she made the comment of me being abrasive, and I'm like, I don't think I'm abrasive, but my overall tone is very strong.
Yeah, like your delivery. And I do think you have a strong personality, and sometimes that intimidates people as well.
Right. But like, I can see how a person who doesn't really know me can see it as more abrasive, but you can't really hold that against me, because for one, you don't know me from a can of paint. I met her like 2 to 3 days prior to her moving in.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't
last minute.
Yeah. So like, I didn't really know her. She didn't get the time to know me and my personality. And like, I don't know, like, I know how I am. And I think it's also just how like the people I'm around, but I also think a lot of Black people just have this very strong delivery about things. They could be nice as peas, I guess.
Nice as peas.
Nice as peas. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. But they could be so nice and so sweet, but their delivery might not be that way. But they really have a good heart and good intentions behind what they're saying. The other person just doesn't see it that way because they're not used to it. And like, this is sometimes how me and Alana, we butt heads or whatever. But she also to a certain extent gets my delivery and she knows the underlying meaning of it. But if you don't know me that well, you're just gonna think I'm trying to cause an argument or be the issue, and I'm really not. I'm just very stern in my beliefs, and I'm stern in the way that like right is right, wrong is wrong, and my delivery in general of talking to someone, even if it's just about going to the store, my tone is just very strong about it. So
you're like, I'm going to the store. Who comes?
yes.
Like
literally. Now, like, who wants to go to the store with me? I'm about to go, we're gonna go shopping. Like, that's not me. I'm like, we're going to the store, get in the car, you're getting left behind.
Point blank period.
Yes.
But
also, I want to say too, like, why hasn't anybody like done anything about the Kanye situation? Like, nobody's held him accountable, other than like he is losing money now because he's not like shoe companies keep like banning him and like saying they're not going to work with him. So like he is losing money now, but that's not enough because he has a lot more money. Like, it's not, he's a music artist, he's a rapper, so like he has other money other than that, so that's not going to be enough.
But I feel like also taking away it's kind of like he's going off the rails, so we're just trying to erase him so that he doesn't make an impact. And I'm like, I feel like,
and I also want to say cancel culture too. Like, yes, I understand people gotta get canceled, this, that, and the third, or whatever. Like, I get it. If you kill someone, okay, you should be canceled. But like, if you're just making bad mistakes, like say me, for instance, every bad mistake since I was born, like if all of that was held against me and nobody could forgive me for anything that I've ever done in my entire life, even though I'm 23, about to be 24, I'm grown, moved on, and I've changed, and nobody can forgive me for shit that I did that I was like maybe 4 years old, that's ridiculous. If people would try to cancel just regular civilians.
The cancel culture nowadays is overly sensitive. Like, everyone is overly sensitive, in not in the good way, not in the way like we're trying to say, we need to be a little bit more sensitive. Like, guys, like they need to get in touch with their inner intuition and their inner like femininity. But more sensitive is in the fact, like, if somebody, I can't even think of a example, but if somebody does something and one person doesn't like it, like how when we talked about Lizzo and how she was like twerking in like a pool or something, people like, oh, like she's fat, she shouldn't be twerking, like she should put clothes on, like we should cancel her for saying spaz in a song. Like, we know the real meaning behind it, you just don't want to admit it. Like, everyone's, like everyone's very sensitive and they're just quick to cancel somebody. But if you see somebody out there who is literally having a cry for help and nobody comes to his side, nobody's even trying to help him, instead you're just trying to shun him out and you're gonna erase him from brand deals, like kind of just push him to the side and be like, you'll be fine, you have money. Like, no, like he needs mental help.
Like, where is his management? Because I know when Demi Lovato was just going through a drug and eating disorder problem, her management threatened so many times to leave her. But Kanye's out here offending people left and right, saying the most stupidest shit out of his fucking mouth, and nobody is like, okay, we're not gonna manage you anymore, or like, we're done with you. Like, he should be written off of his label. Like, yes, I understand that label's making a lot of money from him, but screw the fucking money. He's making a bad name for himself and for everybody who is like involved with him.
But I feel like we shouldn't just leave him,
No, like, we shouldn't leave him, but sometimes it does take you to hit rock bottom and have absolutely nothing to look around and look yourself in the mirror and know what you're doing is wrong. And I don't, like, he needs support, and I don't say leave him as in like just ghost him, but like don't support his behaviors by making him money, pretty much. Like, you take yourself out of the situation with the business aspect and be there as a friend, and don't look at him as only as a dollar sign, because that's why people have meltdowns like this. Just like child star actors or singers or whatever, they all have these types of meltdowns at one point or another in their career because of stuff like this, and nobody else around them is holding them accountable or keeping them grounded. They get all this money and then go batshit fucking crazy with it.
Nobody ever, like, I feel like if you become famous, like us, if we become famous, we need someone to be there to put us in check.
Yes.
You know, like, to manage, like, that's why we should always have somebody to help manage your finances, because, you know, you'll probably end up, if I was rich, I'd probably end up splurging, getting a bunch of stuff. Next thing you know,
I'm cheap as fuck. The only thing I would splurge on is a really nice home and a better car, probably.
I mean, yeah, basically. But see, I'm also the type that, like, I would splurge, but it would be towards trying to fix my family, so to speak. I feel like money is the root of all evil, but it also will fix a lot of shit going on. So
right. But it also becomes a lot heavy when you have to be the breadwinner for your family, when they're in their grown ass age and can't do anything for them. Well, they can, but like some people just choose not to.
Yeah. But I also want to touch on, like, since we're talking about like Kanye and his situation, what did you think about the Kardashian curse that Scott had mentioned way back when?
I think that the Kardashian curse is like a thing, but I don't necessarily think that it's all the Kardashians. Like, the men think they get this holy grail pot of gold woman, and they think that they've hit like the jackpot, but they don't like do what they need to do to keep that woman, and then they like end up leaving them or divorcing them or whatever, and then they want to play the woe it's me card. Like, Scott, he doesn't need to be saying that, because he's done a lot on national TV that he literally should be the last person that's saying that. And I think all of the men should be the last ones that's saying that, because they were actually decent human beings when they were with the Kardashians. Now that they're all on the outskirts of the Kardashians, now they're acting crazy. And it's not because of them, it's because they lost this holy grail person that they once loved so much and they thought that loved them, but you also changed in that relationship too, and you're not telling your side of what you did, but you want to say what Kim, Khloe, Courtney, and all of them did.
I agree. So I think the curse is real, but they did it upon themselves.
Yeah. And like, I'm sorry, but if I were to date a Kardashian, I would do everything in my power to keep that Kardashian. Like, I'm not going to go cheat, have babies out of wedlock. Like, I'm not doing none of that. Trash can Thompson.
Not the trash. I'm weak.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
But I also have a few like statistics here too. This is like what I Googled. Basically, it's just based off of like 2020, but this gives you like a rough estimate. But I know there was definitely like a lot of suicides in general in 2020 because everybody was depressed. People couldn't really do anything, go anywhere, work. So
a lot of people were like locked inside, and especially if they were by themselves. Like, I know with me, I was on campus, like a college dorm. It was empty. It was just me in a room going crazy. And I was an essential worker, so I still had to go to work, even though, you know, that was the only type of social interaction I got. So imagine like if you're on the verge of suicide and then you're in lockdown, you're gonna go fucking crazy.
I'm just glad that I at least had Brittany, and then we got Shadow like a weekend of quarantine.
it easy.
So, but yeah, so it says in 2020, men died by suicide 3.88 times more than women.
Oh, wow.
And then I have another one that says on average, there are 130 suicides per day. Yeah.
Per day?
Yes.
But do you know how many in men?
No, it doesn't say, it didn't say in men, but I thought that was interesting that it was 130 per day, period.
Yeah. Like,
And then it says white males accounted for 69.68% of suicide deaths in 2020.
Wow.
And then 77% of suicides are by men.
Wait, you said 77?
Yes.
See, this is what I mean. Like, this is what I was trying to say at the beginning. Like, a lot of men, they don't really get to express themselves the way they need to. Especially like if a guy gets raped, he's less likely to talk about it than a woman is. Because yes, there's this stigma like, oh, if a woman gets raped and they try to talk about it, they'll kind of just be shunned away and like, you know, nothing will ever get done about it. But if you're a man, that shit won't even reach the surface. Like nobody.
Yeah, it's
nobody
like, why didn't you fight them off?
Exactly. Like, they're like, oh, why didn't you do something? Like, oh, you're a sturdy man. Like, why didn't you fight him off? There's a fight or flight response for a reason. Some people fight, but when you're in that paralyzing situation, like if you're a guy and another guy pins your face down and rapes you, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, that's an overwhelming feeling.
Did you watch Euphoria?
I did.
Did you see that episode where that black kid, I think it was, I can't think of her name. I want to say Cassie, but I don't think that's her. Cassie's the dark hair, right? Or is she the blonde?
Cassie's the blonde.
Okay, so her boyfriend at the time in season 1, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah.
The black guy, when he got raped, yeah, it was like that. He got gang raped.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
like,
it says also that males make up 49% of population, but nearly 80% of suicides.
Guys, you need to speak up more. And you can't, sometimes it just takes one. Like if you saw the Ted Bundy shit, like it just takes one. It took that one guy to get out of there and say something. And he stirred up some shit and finally got the cops there and got them to see what had happened. So sometimes it just takes one. Sometimes it takes a village. It takes a community. We all have to band together. And especially women, you have to stick. If your man gets raped, you have to stick by him. Don't just shun him away because, oh, you're not a man because you got raped. Bitch, what if it was you? Yes. Like, would you want him to leave you because you got raped? Like, no. You would want your man to stand by you and to support you. And that's exactly what men need when that shit happens to them. Because men, they have the same feelings we do. It's just generation and society and this whole stigma that, you know, real men don't cry. The fuck? Like, everybody cries. You know, like, everybody cries. Men are told to, like, suck it up and that they're not supposed to cry. They have to let that shit out. Crying is your natural way of healing yourself. And you're basically telling men not to do that. Like, when things like this happen to them, how do you expect them to cope when you've been telling them to shove down their feelings all their life? You know, like, I feel like it's a buildup. Like, you've been told to shove down your feelings all your life and then you get raped. What the fuck do you expect them to do? Like, they're going to go crazy in their mind and probably commit suicide because they can't tell nobody, but also they can't keep it a secret. And if they do tell most of the time they probably do tell somebody. They probably tell a guy friend that they have, and then the guy friend probably be like, oh, so
Keep
are
that
you
to
gay?
yourself.
There's that question. So are you gay?
Mm-hmm.
Man, no, I got raped. I'm not gay. Like, I'm not
man,
gay.
no.
Like they're not gay for getting raped. It's something that happened to them, not something that they wanted. Especially even with gay men. Like, if a gay man gets raped, I feel like most people would be like, but you're gay, you like that shit, right? Like, no. Like,
no, I didn't like getting my face shoved into the bed and pinned down and got raped. Like, sorry, but no, I did not like that. And I thought you were a better friend to understand what I just went through.
Exactly. And instead of being by their side and helping them get help, you just shun them away because you're like, oh, they're damaged goods.
Yeah.
Like, no.
If we're being honest, everybody in America is damaged goods. So, like,
oh, girl.
So honestly, like, that whole damaged goods, I want to throw you away because you're damaged goods, like, it's a crock of shit, and we need to drop that and let it go, because everybody has some sort of baggage. It could be totally different baggage on both sides, but everybody has some sort of baggage, and we need to just let it go. We've all been through some shit. So let's just work through it, go to therapy, and be happy and healthy.
And stick by each other, you know, be by each other's side. And if you have a friend who's hurting and they're going through some shit, help them. Don't just sit there and let them stir, because then when they kill themselves, you're going to be like, oh, you know, like, there was more I could have done. I could have done this. I could have done that. Bitch, you should have thought of that.
Like, how
before that person killed themselves.
More, but you decided that it was a little too weird for you that a man got raped, and then you wanted to just leave him hanging by himself. Literally, figuratively, and literally.
We need to be there for each other. Point blank, period. That's all we're trying to say. We need to be there for each other. And men, you know, I know it's hard for you to come out and say, like, this happened to me, but until people start speaking up, we can't normalize this. And, you know, as a community, we need to band together. That way, when that person is ready to speak up, they got a fucking village behind them. Like, there's no way they're not going to get their point across, because they have support. And that's all it takes, is some support to get your point across, some support to just be sane. Sometimes people just want to be heard.
Right. And just to let everybody know, male, female, in between, we don't care. Calming the Chaos is your ally, and we will support you. So if you need someone to talk to, make it anonymous. Want to get your story out there, please hit us in our bitch inbox on Instagram at Calmingthechaos_22. Again, that's Calmingthechaos_22, and we will always be here for y'all. And
you know, you can scan our QR code right here. And it'll take you to all of our social media. And, you know, hopefully this helps the next person. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be here for our fellow men, for our fellow women, for our fellow LGBTQIA+ community, for everybody. So
we're going to just wrap this up. And we enjoyed talking to you guys. We're in a different setting, so we're trying something new. Sorry if there's some kinks or whatever, but we will work through it all. And every video is going to get better than the next. So,
all right. Love you guys.
All right. Love you. I'm Zaria.
And I'm Maika. And this is Calming the Chaos. Bye.
You know you can't control me, baby. You need a real one in your life. The bitches ain't gonna give it to you, right? I'd rather be your bitch.